So welcome back everyone. In this video we are going to learn about filter function. We have already covered about map function and what it does. Filter function is quite similar to it but a bit of difference that it creates. So let's jump into filter functions. A filter method constructs an iterator from elements of an iterable for which a function returns true. I know there's a lot of big words out there. Filter method filters the given iterable with the help of function that test each element in the iterable to be true or not. What I mean by this, that let's say you have a function and again you have an iterable. In that function you will be writing out some code where it should be returning true or false. Okay. So if the condition is true for that element, let's say even and odd. Okay. If you have written out a code in your function that if the number is let's say if your number is even, then it should be returning true, else it should be returning false. Then you pass out your iterable and you check if the number is even, then it will be assigned to an new iterable. Okay, it may be a list or tuple, it's on you, but it will return me back a filter object. So the Python built-in filter function can be used to create a new iterable from an existing iterable. It can be a list or dictionary, as we could recall in our function map function, that will efficiently filter out elements using a function that we provide. An iterable is a Python object that can be iterated over. That is, it will return items in a sequence such that we can use it in a for loop. The basic syntax of it, we are going to look into it. Let me show you. So we have filter, again we will be having filter. So we will be having filter, and then we have a func, and then again an iterable. And I'm really sorry for this worst handwriting of mine. I hope this is making some sense. So this is filter, then I have func, and then I have an iterable. Okay, this will return a filter object which is an iterable. We can use the function like list to make a list of all the items returned in a filter object. Let's jump into the next slide to get deeper. Okay, so this is how the syntax looks like. I have a filter, I have a function, and then I have a iterable. Okay, this is a function and this is the iterable. Function that tests if the element of an iterable returns true or false. Okay, let's say you have written out a function again. If let's say positive or negative, if n is greater than 0, then return, not right, okay, let me write it. So, return true. Else, let's return same thing, return false. Return false. If none, the function defaults to identity function, which returns false if any elements are false. Okay, so you will be passing an iterable. Again, the iterable, let's take the example of a list. So I have numbers from 1 to 10. Let's say some minus numbers over here, -1, -2, 1, 3, -5. Let's take all of these numbers. So it will be passed one by one, whatever values are there or whatever items are there in the iterable, one by one each value will be passed into the function. First -1 be passed, it will return me false, so it will be just jumped off. -2 also jumped off, and then we will be getting into 1, it will be assigned back. Okay, we will be having a new list after this. It will be having 1, then it will be having 3, again -5 will be jumped off, and then 10. So what's the difference between the map function and filter function? Map function, over there we were having no condition. The function was applied to each and every item in an iterable. Okay. But filter functions, from the name itself, is used to filter out your data. Okay. Now iterable, which is again to be filtered, could be a set, list, tuples, or container of any iterable. Let's jump into an example of it. So I have some ages. What is this age? This is, let's say, these are the people who have applied for voting, or maybe have applied for uh, getting inside any website. Okay, and that website might be of real estate or anything where we have a age of that only 18 plus or only 16 plus, something like this will be applicable. Okay, or we have social media platform, or let's say we have any game. Okay, probably you guys are must well do of PUBG. So you are a player, you have registered yourself for a PUBG player, and over there they have asked you for your age, and these are some of the ages that the users have been registered: 5, 12, 15, 17, 18, 24, 32. So in PUBG there will be like, if you're less than 18 you cannot play it out, as this is I think less than 18 or 16, someone, let's take 18 as of now. Okay, so you cannot play out the game. Okay, but if you are more than 18 it will be true. So I need a function which will, let's say I have 6 users right now who have registered out, and I want to return all the ages or the age of the person that who can just apply for gaming or who can play out PUBG. So I have a function that if x is less than 18, return false, else return true. And I've just passed out my function and ages. And then for x in adults, print x, or else I can just change it to an list. Okay, just by applying some square brackets, and inside of it this I can just write list. Okay, a bit of type conversion, as we could see. We can do this or just view it from a for loop. Now, can you guess what the output will be? Let me show you the output of it. Okay, sorry for again my bad writing. Right now, it will print one after the other, but let me show you in a list. So in this list, we will be having 3 numbers. 5 will be skipped off, 12 will be skipped off, 17 will be skipped off. There will be 18, 24, and 32. These are the 3 things that will be present in the list. That is, these are the players who can play PUBG. So now let's have a quick difference between map and filter. Okay, map and filter. Inside of this, what we have inside of this in map, we have the function. Okay, the iterable, whichever we are having, it will be mapped, and each and every element will be having some value, right? As we could see the square one where we were squaring a number. Inside of that we are taking that each element was taken and it was returning me back an value, and it was assigned back to a new list which was having the square of each and every number. But filter, it will filter out your data. Okay, let's take this example itself which we solve right now. Okay, if your age is less than 18 you will be skipped off. If you are more than 18 you will be added into the list. So that's the difference between map and filter. So that's it for the presentation section of this video. Let's jump into a Jupyter notebook to get to solve some of the interesting problems in filter.